Ladies and gentlemen, you know what's funny? No one gives a shit, and I mean that in the most empowering way possible. Let me say it again, loud and clear. No one gives a shit. Not about your excuses, not about your fear, not about your big dreams you only talk about but never take action on. And you know what? That's amazing. That's freedom. You are not the exception. You are not some fragile little being waiting for the stars to align. You are powerful because the world doesn't care. You are powerful because you don't need anyone's permission to go get what you want. No one is coming, not your parents, not your friends, not your partner, not some mentor, motivational guru, or a lucky break. This is your life, this is your responsibility, and until you realize that, until you feel it in your bones, you will keep waiting for something that simply does not exist. It's not because people don't care about you. It's not because the world is cruel. It's because every single person is fighting their own battles, carrying their own baggage, dealing with their own self, doubt, fear, and pressure. So if you're sitting around thinking that someone's going to notice your struggle and save you from your circumstances, you'll be waiting forever. Here's the shift. You are not the exception. You're not the one person for whom life will make an exception and deliver success on a silver platter just because you deserve it. Harsh maybe, but it's the truth that sets you free. You are not entitled to an extraordinary life. You earn it. You build it through decisions, through behavior, through habits, through grit, through the moments no one sees and the choices no one applauds. You get one shot at this life, and waiting around for someone else to hand you clarity, confidence, or opportunity is the fastest way to waste it. So what does that mean? It means you wake up every single day and choose who you want to become, not once, not when it's convenient, not when motivation strikes, but every day, because here's the reality. Life doesn't care about your feelings. Life doesn't slow down when you're tired, and it doesn't bend because you've had a hard week. It moves, and the only way to keep up is to stop expecting someone to pull you forward and start pulling yourself. Now, let's get practical. You want to get in shape. No one cares more about your body than you. That means you get up early, you train, you fuel your body like you give a damn, and on the days you don't feel like it, you go anyway. Why? Because no one is going to do it for you. You want to be successful in your business or career, amazing, but stop expecting your boss, your coworkers, your team, or the algorithm to hand you a win. Show up differently, sharpen your skills, learn when everyone else is scrolling, lead when others are hiding, do more than you're paid to do until you're paid for the value you bring. You want better relationships. It starts with how you show up. You want respect, be worthy of it. You want love, give it. You want loyalty, earn it. This isn't about being perfect. This is about taking ownership. Because when you blame others for your problems, you also hand them your power. And the truth is, you already know this. That fire you feel in your gut when you hear someone tell it to you straight. That's your inner compass. That's your knowing. That's the real you. The one who's been buried under excuses, fear, and the lie that you're helpless. But you're not. You've just forgotten that you don't need saving. You need activating. You need discipline. You need courage. You need to look in the mirror and decide if it's going to happen. It's going to be because I made it happen. No more blaming your past. No more waiting for someone to understand. No more hoping that someday the right person or the right opportunity will land in your lap. Make everything okay. You're not the exception, and that's not a bad thing. It's a beautiful thing. It means you're just like everyone else who ever built something meaningful. They weren't chosen. They weren't lucky. They weren't more special than you. They simply took ownership. They got to work. They did what needed to be done, even when it was hard, and you can too. You don't need anyone's permission to become the strongest, most capable, most grounded version of yourself. You just need to stop lying to yourself about why you're not there yet. So here's the deal. If you're still waiting for someone to come fix your life, stop. If you're still hoping someone will come believe in you before you believe in yourself, stop. If you're holding out for motivation to get started, give that up now. Start moving, start showing up, start building the momentum you're craving. It comes from motion. No one is coming to hand you confidence. You have to build it by doing hard things. No one is coming to give you clarity. You gain that by taking messy action. No one is coming to save your dreams. You do that by showing up when it's boring, lonely, or terrifying. You want a better life. Good, you're the one who's going to create it, no one else. You keep waiting for someone to validate you, someone to finally say, you're good enough. someone to acknowledge your efforts, cheer you on, recognize your potential, tell you they're proud of you, and deep down you believe that once you get that validation, you'll feel ready, you'll feel confident, you'll finally take the big leap, speak up, go all in. But here's the reality check. Most people are too busy dealing with their own chaos to even notice you. Let that land. It's not personal, it's human nature. Everyone's living in their own head, worrying about their own problems, chasing their own goals, battling their own fears. They're not thinking about you. They're not sitting around analyzing your choices, watching your every move, or waiting to offer you approval. That means two things: you're not being judged nearly as much as you think you are. You don't need to wait for validation because it's not coming. And that's a gift, because the moment you realize no one's watching, no one's waiting, no one's clapping, is the moment you realize you're free. You're free to take risks, free to make mistakes, free to look foolish, free to be real. The spotlight you think is following you around, it's an illusion. It's your mind magnifying fear, fear of failure, fear of embarrassment, fear of judgment. But truthfully, most people don't notice, and even if they do, they'll forget tomorrow. So why let the illusion hold you back from doing something meaningful? Let's get something straight. You don't need anyone's permission to go after your dreams. You don't need your parents to understand your vision. You don't need your friends to believe in your ideas. You don't need strangers on the internet to like your growth. You just need you, that's it. The most successful people on this planet weren't the ones who waited to be discovered. They didn't sit on the sidelines waiting for someone to say, "Okay, now you're ready." They decided they were enough before anyone else did. And that decision changed everything. Think about the energy you waste trying to impress others. All the things you hold back from doing because you're worried what people might think. That business idea you shelved. That video you didn't post. That truth you swallowed. That change you didn't make. Why? Because someone might raise an eyebrow. Ask yourself this: are you living your life or theirs? You have one life, one chance, one shot to build something real, something authentic, something that matters. And the longer you wait for external permission, the more you delay your own growth. You want to build confidence. Then start showing up for you, not for applause, not for followers, not for praise, but for your own growth, your own peace, your own purpose. Because the truth is, the people who matter, they don't need convincing. They see your effort, they feel your energy, and they support you, not because you're perfect, but because you're courageous enough to try. And those who criticize, judge, or mock, let them. Their opinion doesn't pay your bills. Their validation doesn't build your business. Their approval doesn't define your worth. Stop outsourcing your value to people who don't even know your full story. You are the only person who lives with the consequences of your choices. Not them. You're the one who wakes up in your body. You're the one who hears the voice in your head. You're the one who faces the mirror every morning. So why are you giving so much power to people who aren't even living your life? You know what happens when you stop chasing validation? You stop second guessing yourself. You stop overthinking every decision. You stop playing small. You move, you act, you build, you become. You don't need everyone to believe in you. You just need to believe in yourself long enough for the results to speak. Let the work prove your worth. Let your consistency speak volumes. Let your actions drown out the doubt. Because when you take bold steps without waiting for claps, you build self-trust. And self-trust is the foundation for everything powerful. So here's what I want you to do. Stop looking around. Start looking within. Don't post something and anxiously wait for likes. Don't share your dreams and look around for praise. Don't create something meaningful and wait to see if people clap. Just do the damn thing for you. Do it quietly, do it boldly, do it imperfectly, and let the world catch up if it ever does. Because in the end, your freedom begins the moment you stop needing anyone to give a shit about what you're doing and start giving every ounce of that energy to yourself. That's how you take control. That's how you create impact. That's how you win, not with applause, but with unshakable belief. Responsibility is not a burden, it's your liberation. The moment you stop blaming others, your past, your circumstances, your upbringing, the economy, your boss, or your partner for where you are in life, everything changes. You take your power back. You shift from being a passive observer in your story to the author of it. That's where your freedom begins, not when the world changes, but when you do. Most people spend their lives pointing fingers. If only my parents had supported me more. If only I had better luck. If only the world was fair. If only they saw my value. But here's the raw truth. Blaming is easy. Responsibility is hard. That's why most people avoid it. It's easier to say life is unfair than to admit you've been playing it small. It's easier to blame others than to hold up the mirror and ask, what can I do better? But here's the gold. Once you take full responsibility for where you are, you gain full control over where you're going. That's not just motivational fluff. That's real power. Let me be clear. Responsibility does not mean self-blame. It doesn't mean everything that happened to you was your fault. It doesn't mean excusing other people's wrongs. But it does mean that you are now in charge of what happens next. That's the freedom most people will never taste because they're too busy waiting for someone to fix them. You're struggling with money. Take responsibility, learn the skills, make the sacrifices, change your financial literacy. Your body's out of shape. Take responsibility, start small, move daily, fuel your body with discipline, not emotion. You're stuck in a job you hate, own it. Update your resume, learn new tools, network, apply, repeat. You are not stuck. You are scared, and that's okay. Fear is natural. But responsibility is what turns fear into forward motion. It's the key to momentum. It's how you get unstuck. The second you say, this is on me, your mindset shifts. You start thinking in solutions, not complaints. You start looking for opportunities, not sympathy. And that shift, that's what separates people who stay average from those who elevate their lives. Think about the people you admire, the ones crushing it in business, health, relationships, mindset. Do you think they got there by blaming others? No. They got there by owning their time, their energy, their habits, their goals. They looked at the mess in front of them and said, this is mine to fix. That's the mindset of winners. When you take responsibility, you stop needing everything to be fair. You stop needing everything to be easy. You don't wait for the path to be clear. You clear it yourself. Here's the hard truth. No one's coming to do it for you. Not your parents, not your friends, not your boss, not the government, not your soulmate. It's you. It's always been you. And the moment you accept, that is the moment you become unstoppable. This doesn't mean you have to have everything figured out. It just means you stop pretending like you don't have a choice, because you always have a choice in how you think, how you react, how you prepare, how you respond. Responsibility isn't a one-time thing. It's a daily decision. It's when the alarm goes off at 5 a.m. and you get up even when you don't feel like it. It's when your goals aren't working out and instead of quitting, you pivot, you study, you evolve. It's when life knocks you down and you choose to get back up and swing harder. It's when you stop asking, why me, and start saying, try me. Responsibility is not the easy road, but it's the only road that leads to real confidence. You stop faking it. You stop relying on others. You start building from within, and that confidence, that's unshakable, because you didn't get it from applause or attention. You built it in silence, in sweat, in repetition, in the trenches. That's the kind of confidence no one can take away from you. So here's the truth you need to accept if you want to level up. You are responsible for your life, your thoughts, your choices, your habits, your time, your reactions, your future. That doesn't mean it'll be easy. That means it'll be worth it. You don't need someone else to rescue you. You need to start rescuing yourself one choice at a time. Responsibility is not pressure, it's potential. It's power. It's the truth most people avoid and the key that will set you free. Let's be real. Your excuses don't pay the bills. They don't move the needle. They don't build the body, the business, or the life you want. Excuses don't elevate you, they delay you. They keep you small. They make you feel safe but guarantee you stay stuck. You say you're tired. You say you're busy. You say the timing isn't right. You say you don't have the money, the resources, the knowledge, the confidence. Here's the truth. All of that might be valid, but none of it changes your life. Because while you're making excuses, someone with less time, less support, fewer resources, and more problems is out there doing the work anyway. They're not waiting to feel ready. They're not waiting for perfect conditions. They're not sitting around debating whether they're qualified. They're taking action, and that's why they're winning. The difference between where you are and where you want to be. It's not talent, it's not luck, it's not connections, it's discipline, it's follow through, it's showing up and doing the thing even when every cell in your body wants to crawl back under the covers. Let me be clear, your feelings are not facts. You might feel overwhelmed, but that doesn't mean you can't start. You might feel scared, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't move forward. You might feel like quitting, but that doesn't mean you're done. Your brain is wired to keep you safe, not successful. It's going to feed you every excuse in the book. It's going to whisper, take it easy, or let's just do it tomorrow, or what's the point? That's not truth, that's resistance. And if you listen to it, you lose. Here's the harsh reality. The life you want is hiding behind the excuses you keep making. You don't feel like working out, do it anyway. You don't feel like writing the business plan. Do it anyway. You don't feel like having that hard conversation, applying for the job, learning the new skill, taking the leap. Do it anyway. Because success is not built on feelings, it's built on choices. When you build the habit of doing what needs to be done whether you feel like it or not, you build something stronger than motivation. You build mental toughness. Think of any high performer, athlete, or entrepreneur you admire. You think they get up every day fired up and fully motivated? No. They've just mastered the art of acting in spite of excuses. They've learned how to silence the noise and move anyway, and guess what? You can too. Start small, train that muscle, keep promises to yourself. If you say you're getting up at 6 a.m., then get up at 6 a.m., not because it's easy, but because every time you do what you said you would do, you build trust with yourself. And that's where confidence is born. You can't build an elite life on a foundation of broken commitments. Your excuses will give you comfort, but they'll never give you progress. It's easy to say, I'll start next week. It's easy to say, I'm not ready. It's easy to say, things are hard right now. But let me ask you, how many weeks have you said that? How many times have you convinced yourself the stars need to align before you begin? You're not confused. You're just procrastinating. You know exactly what needs to be done. You're just waiting for it to feel easier. Spoiler alert, it won't. You'll never feel ready. You'll never have perfect circumstances. Life will always be messy, unpredictable, stressful, and yet you still have to move. That's where real power comes, from the ability to push through despite the chaos, despite the doubt, despite the discomfort. Stop negotiating with your goals. Stop selling yourself short. Stop letting temporary emotions determine your permanent future. You can cry and keep working. You can feel fear and still take the leap. You can be exhausted and still take one more step. Because at the end of the day, the only thing standing between you and the life you're capable of is the story you keep telling yourself about why you can't have it. So change the story, rewrite it. Take back the pen, remind yourself, my excuses don't serve me, my actions do. You want results, then you need to move from emotion to execution. You need to stop making it optional and start making it non-negotiable. You need to stop giving in to your excuses and start choosing your evolution. Because 1 year from now, you'll either be glad you started or still stuck in the same place, repeating the same excuses, wondering why nothing's changed. It's not the world, it's not your boss, it's not your past, it's the excuses you keep feeding. Starve them and watch yourself become unstoppable. If no one cares, then guess what? You're free, free to experiment, free to fail, free to evolve, free to do things differently. Because when you fully internalize that most people aren't paying attention or simply don't care the way you think they do, you stop living under the weight of their opinions. You stop trying to fit in. You stop playing small to be accepted. Let me be brutally honest with you. The world is indifferent, not just to your fears, but to your success and even your failures. And that's not bad news, that's liberation. Because if no one cares, then you can stop waiting to be perfect before you start. If no one cares, then you can stop editing yourself for approval. If no one cares, you can finally go all in on the life you actually want, not the one that's safe or approved or acceptable. You keep worrying, what if I mess up? What if you do? Who's going to remember it next week? Probably no one. People are too caught up in their own lives to obsess over your mistakes. You know who's judging you the most. You, and that's the trap. You build imaginary critics in your mind, the ones you think are watching, gossiping, waiting for you to slip, but they're not real. They're projections of your own fear. Once you realize that, you can stop tiptoeing through life like you owe anyone an explanation. You don't. What if you treated your goals like no one was watching? What if you stopped caring about how it looks and started caring about how it feels? What if you gave yourself permission to chase what matters because it matters to you, not because you're trying to prove something? Think about the creativity, the courage, the clarity you'd gain if you weren't afraid of what people think. That's what happens when you stop trying to impress everyone and start building for yourself. The truth is, when you accept that the world is indifferent, you stop wasting time on things that don't move the needle. You stop spending hours trying to curate the perfect image. You stop getting stuck in analysis paralysis. You stop waiting for the right caption, the perfect lighting, the ideal moment. You just act, and when you act without the fear of judgment, you move faster, you learn faster, you grow faster, because you're not hesitating. You're not asking, will people like this? You're asking, does this feel aligned? Does this push me forward? That's how real growth happens. Let me remind you, the people who change the world, the ones who create, build, innovate, they don't wait for permission. They don't chase applause, they chase truth, they chase purpose, they chase progress, and sometimes they're misunderstood, rejected, or ignored, but they keep moving. Why? Because they've trained themselves to use the world's indifference as fuel. That awkward stage you're trying to avoid, it's unavoidable. The messy beginnings, the embarrassing flops, the cringeworthy, the first drafts, that's where all your power is built. And no one cares as much as you think they do, so go ahead and be bold. Be messy, be seen trying. You don't have to get it right the first time. You just have to start, because every time you take action, even imperfectly, you move forward. Every time you show up, even without applause, you become stronger. Every time you try, even when no one's clapping, you're building resilience. You are not here to be liked. You are here to live, to grow, to rise, to stretch, to become who you were meant to be, and none of that requires the world to notice you. It just requires you to believe in your own potential enough to act on it. It requires you to stop shrinking to fit into boxes that were never built for your greatness. It requires you to stop waiting to be discovered and start discovering yourself. When you realize that nobody gives a shit truly, deeply realize it, you become dangerous, because now you're not waiting for permission, you're not chasing validation, you're not operating on fear. You're operating on purpose, so stop hiding, stop holding back. Stop pretending that being invisible is safer. It's not. The cost of playing small is your own fulfillment. The cost of caring too much about what others think is the life you could have lived. So use the world's indifference as your advantage. Use it as a green light. Use it as confirmation that you're free to move, free to fall, free to rise again. Because once you stop needing them to care, you'll finally start caring enough about yourself to do the damn thing. And that's when your life starts to change. Let's get one thing straight, no one gives a shit. And that's not something to cry about. That's not an insult or a tragedy. That's the greatest truth you'll ever be handed, because within it lies your freedom. The world isn't watching your every move. People aren't obsessing over your failures, and they're not waiting to applaud your success. They're dealing with their own mess, which means you're free to move. Free to fall, free to get back up, free to do it scared, messy, broken, and loud, because no one's opinion matters more than your own. You don't need anyone's permission. You don't need their validation. And you definitely don't need their approval. You need responsibility. You need discipline. You need action. You are not the exception. You are the answer. You are the only one responsible for the life you want. And guess what? That means you have the power to change it. You've got to stop waiting, stop complaining, stop comparing. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you the dream. No one cares about your excuses, and your excuses won't build your future anyway. So what will? Getting up when it's hard, doing the work when no one's watching, choosing growth over comfort, choosing movement over fear, choosing to believe in yourself, especially when no one else does. This life, it's on you, and that's the best news ever, because if it's on you, then you're never powerless again. You want change, take ownership. You want success, build it. You want confidence, earn it by doing hard things. When you accept that the world doesn't owe you anything, you stop waiting, you start building, you start living. No one gives a shit, and that's exactly why you should give it everything you've got.